Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining today. We're going to give everyone about another minute to finish signing in, and then we'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Genscape Nodal Market Insights overview. Thanks for joining today. Just before we get started, I wanted to share a couple of housekeeping items. There's a questions box that you will see that would look something similar to this here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to enter those questions as we go throughout. We're going to kind of collect all of those and then respond accordingly as we have time at the end. Additionally, there's a survey attached here, so if you might be willing to provide any feedback, that would be very much appreciated. And then lastly, the slides and the recordings to this webinar will be sent out on Friday. So with that said, I'd like to introduce ourselves. I'm Justin Raspberry. I'm the Senior Director of our Nodal Analytics Group. And also on the phone is Eric Palmer, who's our Product Specialist for our Nodal Market Insights platform. And today, we're going to use this webinar to introduce you guys to new features of our Nodal Market Insights platform, as well as to announce that we're excited that we are now moving the platform into PJM. So in today's webinar, you're going to get an overview of, as I said, the newest version of what we call NMI. Users of this application, you'll find out which type of users can really benefit from using the Nodal Market Insights platform, and moreover, how they can leverage this platform to improve your understanding of key market drivers, as well as understand kind of what might be significant as you're preparing for analyzing certain congestion plays in the day-ahead market or in the monthly CRR or FTR markets. This application creates lots of charting and visualization capabilities and specifically allows you to drill into key data points, including transmission outages and generation data, load information, and moreover provides users the ability to quickly assess the historic performance of certain nodes or bid paths. You can also look collectively at a market and do profitability analysis as well on the overall market and trying to identify key paths. So when we talk about the new Nodal Market Insights platform, we really wanted to point out a couple of key things. Some of you who are on the call today might actually currently be users and know that we've been looking to roll out to PJM. So with that said, we're really excited to push this out. So obviously one of the biggest features that we've added is that we now have the PJM market included. This is on our analysis module component. The portfolio builder module will be coming in the latter part of the summer. And just to kind of talk about those two components briefly, the majority of today's discussion will be around the analysis module, which again is a kind of a charting and visualization tool that allows, empowers users through real-time and historical market data research. We have some new features that are rolling out to both ERCOT and PJM now that we're in both those markets, including our profitability analysis, which allows you to study kind of the historical volatility of CRR and FTR paths or day-ahead point-to-point positions or day-ahead UTCs. We kind of try to talk about both markets as we go here. And also to try to identify your best and worst return in certain days. We've also added a new feature called our Constraint Impact tool. And really what this tool does is, and we'll show you all of this here in a moment, but it allows you to quickly drill down into certain constraints and identify impacts that constraint has on nodes, as well as identifying if there are any linked drivers that our analysts have correlated with those specific constraints. And then lastly, a new feature that we've now added into this analysis module that we're really excited about enabling for our customers is access to generation bid data. Obviously in ERCOT, this data is available 60 days in arrears through the 60-day SCED reports. But in other regions, it is not as readily available and is not transparent as to which generators the data is for. So we've leveraged a lot of our internal mapping tools and a significant amount of time that's been spent internally at Genscape to use this data, and are now making it the bid data available to all customers through the analysis module. And those are really the three new features that have been added, but we're going to cover a majority of all of the features for those of you who are joining the call from PJM that might be interested in what else this platform does. So who uses Genscape's NMI platform? For the analysis module, really anyone who's doing real-time or historical data analysis. If you want to drill into historical pricing information, transmission outages, generation outages, and you want to kind of revert back and see what happened on similar days in the past, or you're curious as to what's actually happening in real time right now, that would be any user of this application could benefit from all of those features. Specifically, and really most of the customers that we work with would be anyone who's doing congestion analysis for day ahead or for monthly auctions, whether that's CR or FTR. And we have customers across the board who are either speculating and or hedging around specific paths. So whether you're looking specifically to hedge a resource node to a load zone or a hub, or you're looking to speculate and try to find any position that you might be able to gain advantage of, this tool really satisfies both types of participants. With our portfolio builder module as well, users have the ability to quickly derive key congestion assessments for the forecasted time frame. So for the next day, for a day-ahead market, for example, you can identify what is the congestion risk on certain constraints, and that then is then transformed into what is an applicable bid to make. So the tool is really helpful for really running a full congestion risk assessment across any target opportunities that either a trader or an analyst might be looking into. So wanted to talk a little bit about some key components about what differentiates this application. Obviously, most of you would probably know Genscape just for our proprietary monitor generation data, and obviously making that data visible in conjunction with all of the constraint, transmission outages, generation outages, pricing information, etc., all in one user interface is really one thing that we feel truly differentiates our platform. Additionally, now with access to the bid data through this platform, we're creating kind of a whole new level of transparency around bid curves, giving users access to that transformed data, which makes it easy to work with. So all in all, those two key components are really key differentiators for our analysis module. And as we say down here, one of the slogans we like to stick by is that our product simplifies the process of turning information into actionable insights. In addition to the analysis modules that you keep hearing me refer to, the portfolio builder application is really kind of the culmination of all of this charting and visualization data into how you can construct portfolios to trade day ahead or month ahead auctions. Some additional benefits too of the platform, just to cover it. It's a cloud-based hosted solution, so there's no infrastructure internally that users have to deal with. Everything's accessible through the web. It's a subscription-based pricing model, so it simplifies your overall investment commitment. Also, it's modular subscription, so users can subscribe to different regions. They can subscribe to different components. You can enable different data sets. Everything's kind of independently accessible and from a licensing and subscription standpoint. We also, one thing that we like to say is that it's a fully integrated solution. So we bring in large volumes of public data. We have our proprietary monitored data. We have other proprietary generated data in the application. But we also incorporate all of that into our workflow engine, which helps you construct portfolios. And then lastly, you also have the ability to manage your user activity and your user management all on your own, control through the application. So that at the high level is really just, the purpose of today's webinar. What we're going to do now is Eric Palmer, our product specialist, is going to take you guys through some of the features and functionality that are available in this application.
Thanks, Justin. Like Justin said, I'm going to take you through the analysis module. I'm going to highlight some of the new features of that we've just rolled into the product and kind of just go do a quick overview of what's already in there. So in the analysis module, we do have a visualization and mapping tool. You can find all line outages, circuit breaker, transformer outages. You can view the actual physical transmission grid. You can see the lines and substations. You can see the trading nodes. You can view dam pricing, real-time pricing, the DART spreads, and you can view active constraints. You can view all the day-ahead market constraints, real-time constraints, and in ERCOT you can actually view the active constraints that are currently posting. Other parts of the visualization tool, you do have the ability to see, when clicking on an outage, you can actually view the last 5 times this line went out. But one of the new features we've added is you can actually find the next 5 times that it went out. So if you do see a line outage that is driving a constraint, not only can you go look in the past and see if this happened on a prior day, but if you're sure that this line outage is driving this constraint, and it ends today, you can click one little button there and it'll tell you the next 5 days it's scheduled out. So that way, if it's a intraday outage where it's out, just 7 to 22 or 8 to 23, you'll be able to see the next few days, the next 5 days that it goes out. So it's a really good way to go in and kind of make a note for, all right, this congestion could possibly occur all week. You also have the ability to open new graphing windows from the map page. You can view the constraints, you can view pricing just by clicking on a new window. And you can adjust everything by adjusting the dates on the bottom of the screen. You can view hourly, so you can scroll through every hour of the day and see how the outages and the constraints change over the course of the day. You can look back into a day in the past. You can look as far forward as you want. So if you are doing some analysis for CRR, you can look forward at the next month and kind of see, all right, are these outages out next month as well? You can take a look at that. Some of the other proprietary data that we've added is the Genscape PowerRT data. So a lot of you are already probably familiar with the PowerRT interface. We have added that to this product as well. So you can see that the PJM plants are added here. It'll be hourly averages over the course of the day. And if you are an IIR subscriber as well, you can view all the IIR outages on the map as well. You can also toggle, and if you just want to go and see all the forced outages over the course of the day, you have the ability to do that, or you can just see planned outages if you want. So that was the mapping tool. The graphing tool, this was something that you can open up from the mapping tool if you want, or you can just go into it separately. You can view your load. You can view all published generation data. So for ERCOT, you can view, if you want to take a look at a day more than 60 days in the past, you can go and view that and overlay it over constraints. In this photo here, there's a Silas Ray, La Palma Villa Cavados congestion. You can see that it goes away once a Silas Ray unit ramps online, and then it comes back when it shuts off. If you want to do something more recent, you can actually now overlay our PowerRT data onto this as well. So you can do the same thing with all of our monitored plants. You can also view day-ahead real-time prices. You can actually view source sync spreads on this graphing module as well, shadow prices, and you can also see your portfolio's performance if you're using the portfolio builder, and you can also see market performance as it becomes available. So one of the other new features is the constraint analysis. You can show the binding instances of a constraint in the DAM or the real time. You can view linked drivers or outages. These are Genscape analyst linked drivers, line outages, and you can also view best source sync pairs for this constraint. And you can even set favorites so that you can watch specific nodes on this.
One thing I'd add on this one too, Eric, you know, if you want to actually see how a constraint performs under different contingencies as well, you can actually search. It's tough to see here in this example, but on the left-hand menu there, in fact, all of our layers are enabled through our left-hand menu on the left side there, but there is the ability to you know, set the direction of the constraint as well as choose the contingencies that constraint was activated under. So, you know, it gives you the ability to kind of see different pricing impacts, different binding instances when different contingencies were in effect as well.
Great. The other thing, the new feature that Justin talked about earlier was the generation bid data. So this is an example of the ERCOT bid data. ERCOT is more transparent. However, if you ever try to look it up, there's only a certain number of days there. There are 60 days in the past, obviously, but there's only, and the data is not as user-friendly. It's not as easy to go in and find. So we made it easy. For ERCOT, you know, we have, you know, your megawatts, your bid blocks. We also have dispatched all ancillaries on here as well to view. For other regions, you know, they don't post the ancillaries, but you still will have the bid blocks for the generating unit. And like Justin said earlier, these are all coded when PJM publishes the data. At Genscape here, we've decoded all these bid blocks. So you do have the ability to go in, select a unit, and find their bid data that they submitted. The table tool, you can also view the market point-to-point profits and loss, the P&L there. You can also view CRR, P&L as well. You can show the own user performance if you have Portfolio Builder. You can view node prices, and you also view shadow prices and constraints in this table tool as well.
And Eric, just one thing to add. I mean, we just for everyone on the line, we rolled out the ERCOT first, so you hear us say CRR a lot, or day-ahead PTPs. It's kind of synonymous and interchangeable with us as far as the features and functionality with PJM's UTCs as well as FTRs. So just keep that in mind, folks, as we use the terminology. You know, obviously CRR is not a defined term in PJM, but you know, it's a synonymous product with the FTR.
Yep, agreed. And as we continue, more additions. This is another new feature for the table tool. We have the profitability analysis, so you can actually view you can actually set a number and see, if you want to view the 10 most profitable hours over a certain time period, you can do that. You can also view, whatever number you want to look at of the least profitable bid pairs over a certain time period. You can also, evaluate certain bid pairs, for the point-to-point UTCs or the monthly CRRs and FTRs. And then there's a bid path analysis. This is the other new feature. You can view the historical return on a node, bid path, or portfolio. And you can view basically, you select a bid pair, and you can view the best returns and worst returns over whatever time period you want. So if you want to view it over the last 2 months, you can do that. If you want to do it over the last week, you can do that as well.
Yeah, and a couple of other things here on that one specific one, Eric. Users also have the ability, if you want to select an individual source sync pair, you can do that, as Eric mentioned. You can also upload, portfolios of bid pairs to run the same analysis. So if you want to see at a portfolio level, what's the return over the last month for a certain, list of bid pairs that you wanted to upload, you can do that. And if you were to use our portfolio builder application as well to actually generate these portfolios, then you can access each of those portfolios here as well. So it's really dynamic, essentially looking at a single node from an EEC standpoint all the way to an entire portfolio of a bunch of source and sync pairs. You can run a comprehensive profitability analysis on all of those, kind of understanding it day ahead to real time versus your monthly to day ahead. Great.
And lastly in the table tool, if you want to view all your transmission outages, changes in the transmission topology, if in ERCOT you want to view the actual net generation of all the units, you can do that. It'll just pull it up, and you can view the entire every single unit in ERCOT. You can filter down to whatever unit you want, and everything here you can download to Excel as well. Doesn't need to stay accessed in this tool. There's also news and alerts you can also access through this tool as well that comes directly from ERCOT. So as a summary of the tool, I'm just going to go over it one last time. You use the visualization tool to view the line outages, constraints, pricing, historical information, last 5 outages on a specific constraint, next 5. You can drill into binding constraints. You can determine the nodes most impacted by a constraint. You can evaluate the generator bid data from similar days in the past to derive insights on the expected dispatch. You can search for profitable bid pairs within a user-defined time frame. And you can also, view and monitor the real-time generation output of Genscape's proprietary monitors. And you can also assess the value of a user portfolio. And that's really it. If you have any questions right now, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box. If you would like a trial of this product, you can visit the website here on the last slide and talk to your sales rep, and they can set you up. Justin, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'll take a few of the questions. I know before I jump into it, the questions, I'll just say, I know we covered a lot of information, but I think the key thing to realize is that Genscape now has a visualization and charting tool that allows you access to real-time and historical data in both PJM and ERCOT, and our key differentiators on this specific module is access again to the generation bid data as well as to our proprietary monitored data. I think that that's kind of really the primary purpose of what we wanted to introduce today. But I am going to take a couple of questions from our Q&A here. First, one of the questions says, how many users per subscription? There's no limit to the number of users that you would have with a subscription, so it's an enterprise site-based subscription. And let's see here. Another question is, how long will a free trial last? Typically, most trials on our analysis module last anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. We have had them go longer just due to different circumstances, but I would say our standard approach would be a 1 to 2 week trial. We have some other questions here. Let's see. One question says, when you say real-time analysis, how and where do you go to collect the real-time data? How real is real-time? All data that we collect here and that we demonstrate and that we show here is as available posted by the ISOs. So any of the real-time pricing information, real-time posting of constraint data, et cetera, all of that is as posted by each regional ISO. So as soon as you can say it's posted per the ISO, then within a matter of a minute or so, it would typically be reflected in here. Just as another reminder, one question says, "Is this a web application?" The answer to that is yes. This is a wholly cloud-based, hosted solution that's accessible through the web. Another question is, for ERCOT, you offered forecasted power flows. Are you planning on offering that in PJM? Yes, we will be having the forecasted power flows as well as the, you might have heard me mention earlier, the portfolio builder. And so essentially, what that product does is it consumes a lot of this same data, but it actually uses a DC flow model to forecast the power flows next day across all constraints. And for every individual constraint, it constructs a corresponding bid pair. And so the answer to that is yes, that will be coming out in PJM as well, and we expect it to be launched late this summer. Okay, another question. Someone says, on your constraint impacts tool, you mentioned linked drivers. Can you explain what that is? The linked drivers is something that our analysts, so our team of analysts, those of you who might be familiar with our IQ services understand that we have a team of analysts across each region, all across North America, and those analysts who are consistently studying the market, analyzing it, and running their own models, when they identify a transmission outage or a generation outage that might have been a key driver or the sole driver for a constraint binding, they would link that driver to the constraint. So that then gives you, as a user of this tool, the history to say when you pull up a constraint, you can say what was a linked driver and identify if that same driver is relevant for the next day or the upcoming monthly auction. Another question says, what sets you apart from your competitor? Currently, there are services providing this information. That's a great question. The primary differentiation for us is really our ability to, in a single solution, pull together the charting, visualization, and graphing of this data, but also then to move that into our forecasted power flow simulator and actually from that construct bid pairs. That is really the ease and the speed in which we do that is really one of the key components that differentiates us. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, two data points that differentiate us as well as the access to generation bid data as well as the access to our proprietary monitored data. Okay, fortunately we kind of sped through this, but we do have a time for a few more questions. Do you do any long-term, at least 4 years out, analysis of predicted nodal pricing through the main platform? We do not do predicted pricing through the main platform. The main platform does congestion analysis and identified target paths to trade around. You can run that as far out as you want using our portfolio builder. However, you are limited based on the overall network topology that's available in the system. Okay, next question. How memory intensive is the tool? How many windows can I open before my flash crashes? Fortunately, we don't use flash, but it is there is server-side components to the data request, and there's also client-side components. We don't find it. I mean, I don't know the exact amount of RAM that's consumed while launching the application, but we've tested it with up to 10 to 15 different windows open at any given time and not had any issues. So I guess that's kind of dependent upon your own system. You guys have lots of great questions. They keep coming in. Let me just keep going here. Through your platform, can one access ERCOT historical LMP data, i.e. each substation, not the settlement points or generations? If so, how far back? Currently, no. We only are showing the ERCOT settlement points. We do have in PJM, we do have all 11,000, or I forget the exact number, 13,000 or 11,000 CP nodes. And we will also have the same in MISO. But in ERCOT, we currently just have settlement points. Could you please elaborate on your load flow model? Is it available in PJM? Currently not available in PJM. Will be by the end of the summer. It's just a DC flow model where we run some default data assumptions through to actually produce a power flow. But the primary value prop of the platform that's coming in PJM as well is you as the user using our platform have a very simple workflow that allows you to configure your own load, generation and transmission outage assumptions as you run your own power flow case. And that will be again coming out for PJM later this summer. Okay, I'll just take a couple more here. What topology and or mapping data sets are you getting from PJM? Great question. So we are so for ERCOT, we use the posted ERCOT SIM information. For PJM, we are actually using the monthly FTR published PSSE raw files to give us the best point of view on topology. We also compare that with I'm trying to remember if this is, I think it's the FERC. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a FERC model that we also get for the Eastern Interconnect. So we kind of have quite a few different components for topology that we pull together to give us the latest network topology that we can get for PJM. Okay. Next question says, oh, it looks like Nick, you answered that one around the slides. Again, slides will be sent out. Slides and the voice recording from this webinar will be sent out tomorrow. Great question. How extensive is the network down to 69 kV? Does it look at current conditions, transmission outages? Yes. So I can't tell you that we have every single line mapped, but we do. We basically have constructed the entire network topology from the bus branch models that are produced. And where we have location data, we have everything mapped. We do go all the way down to the lowest level of kV. We group everything. Our lowest grouping level is 69 kV, but that includes things that are smaller than that. As long as we have location data, it is visible on the map. Otherwise, it's still accessible in our portfolio builder as you go to configure transmission outages. And yes, it does look at current conditions with transmission outages. So one of the screens, I'll just go back and push this to you guys. Do this. So this is an example. This screen here, you can see here, this is actually a heat map. This green line over here is showing actual transmission constraint, and all of these little red lines here are showing you transmission outages, which you can all turn the different voltage levels on through this left-hand menu over here. So if you just wanted to look at 69 kV line outages, you could do that, flowing all the way up into your 700 kV. Okay, another question. Is the PJM bid block data still published a few months behind? Yes, that's correct. I believe PJM is on about a 120-day delay, or a 90-day delay. I think it is. Yeah, it's a 120-day delay. The last data we have from PJM, I believe, is through December 15, but we should be expecting another publication here coming shortly. Okay, another question. So far, what type of clients use this platform? We really have both types of customers, or multiple types of customers using this platform. whether you're true physical players just hedging a specific load or a specific generating unit, those folks are our customers. We also have financial speculative trading customers who are using this. And then we obviously have kind of your vertical utilities that really do both sides of that. I think I've covered everything that's come in so far. Again, we will make sure that we have answers to these questions also sent out with the notes. And again, thank you all for taking the time to participate in our webinar today. We appreciate the opportunity to introduce you to our new features for the analysis module, and as well as excited to share that we now have this in PJM. Eric, anything else you'd add?
Nope, that's pretty good.
Okay, very good. All right, well, that concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending.